We'd like to acknowledge that we meet on the land of the traditional owners and we pay our respect to elders past, present and future. My name's Warwick Keats and I'm a landscape architect working with Adelaide Hills Council on the development of the Crafers design framework. This is a novel approach to undertaking a public consultation, but we're doing this as a result of the COVID-19 situation. I want to take you on a bit of a walking tour of Crafers today. And what we want to do is look at the different aspects of the town and give you an opportunity to see them through my eyes, but also to enter into a conversation. From that, we then want to get together and look at those potentials, look at the planning, and ensure that the future development of the town is guided by your input. We've looked at some objectives. We want to increase the heritage character of the town. We want to look at how new development can fit within the context. We want to enhance the open spaces as well as the connection of the town to the wider Adelaide Hills, as well as Adelaide and the freeway around it. So with your help, we can work through the issues and opportunities and look for some positive benefits for Crafers into the future. Crafers has long been a gateway to the Adelaide Hills. This is an incredible opportunity for the town and the main street. The heritage buildings and trees create a wonderful structure that can be reinforced with new tree planting. The difficulty is that the main street is an on-ramp to the freeway. The wide nature of the road and the vehicle speeds deter pedestrian activation. The idea of crossing the wide street and dodging the cars becomes very difficult, particularly for children and older age people. How can we look at crossing points? How can we look at curb build-outs to improve the amenity, provide opportunity for tree planting? Can we look at the development of the main street? At the moment, a number of the car parks form the dominant urban fabric of the main street. Can we change that, increase the activation, look at other ways of developing the site, connect to the open space, connect to the areas behind the main street as well as the surrounding areas? These are all visions that could be the future for Crafers. We're looking for you to help us guide that thinking and turn the master plan into a really significant piece of work. To the east of Crafers are strong connections to Stirling along the Pioneer Women's Trail and over the footbridge. The on-ramp character of the main street causes a lot of pedestrian conflicts, particularly around the intersection to Piccadilly. Opportunities to create more of a slow-speed environment will help these pedestrian connections, as well as providing cycle linkages to the residential areas as well as the garden centre. By looking at pedestrian crossings, increasing landscape amenity, we can change it from simply an on-ramp into a main street character. South of the town are a number of areas that service the pub as well as the existing housing areas. These areas are slightly left over. They have a history to them in terms of the old oval used to be located not far from here. But what is the potential of these spaces? We've got impacts of the freeway. We have leftover informal parking spaces. All of this causes certain issues and conflicts in terms of the capacity of the site, but also the amenity. Can we improve the boundary treatments to the freeway? Are there development opportunities for the existing building stock longer term? Can we create open space that serves the pub as well as future or existing residential uses? Can we look at the circulation and see if there's other ways of using the car parks, using the access to really enhance the function of the town? What footpath links are needed? What tree planting is needed? These are all questions that we want to explore and see if we can find answers to in terms of this area to the south of the town. To the north of Crafers, you can really see the topography impact on the development of the town. The rising ridgeline as well as the landscape treatments create a defined edge to the town, which needs to be reinforced. We don't want to lose the landscape character of the hills within the town. That topography creates gaps for car parks and other developments, which we need to link and look at future opportunities, as well as deliberately linking this area and the open space potential. The petrol station in the heart of the town has significant opportunities. potentially future redevelopment under the current form could look at retail outlets and become a service centre for the local community. We need to look at these opportunities and see how they fit within the character of the town. The main community space in Crafers is centred around the Institute building and the tennis courts. The access is along Sharad Court and Cox Place. This is a narrow entrance which causes a great deal of conflict, particularly as this space often acts as an overspill for the park and ride. That conflict with open space as well as parking needs to be resolved. The Institute building has a disused tennis court. How can we reuse this space and provide greater access to the main street? How can the heritage setting of this space be enhanced? Can we look at additional links onto the main road access to change and improve the community and civic purpose of this space? There's also an appetite to look at this space in a different way. Can the tennis courts expand, or are there other ways of accommodating recreation within this space? We'd like to look at those different opportunities as we look at the master plan. Some of the open space in Crafers is significantly underutilised. This area of Crown land at the western edge of the town seems disconnected from the main street. It has significant tree canopy cover, a drainage channel running through, providing really interesting amenity. The linkage to the residential buildings is somewhat disconnected, and there's a need to really connect this goat track that runs through with the main street. Can we look at different opportunities for this open space? Can we look at opportunities to increase the development edge and bring activation to the main street, increasing those linkages, particularly to the Institute Park as well? Again, these are opportunities that we'd like to look at. To the western edge of Crafers is the off-ramp to the freeway, as well as a number of road intersections. This creates a great deal of traffic movement, and some of the issues associated with informal parking along the Mount Lofty Scenic Drive create significant problems. In extreme cases, the parking arrangement stops vehicle access. There's issues in terms of pedestrian connectivity, but there are also opportunities in terms of the sense of arrival and enhancing the entrance to the town through landscape treatments. Can we reveal the Institute building, put it into more of a historic context? Can we increase access to the tennis courts, as well as improve the landscape context and pedestrian crossing points for the main street? The park and ride facility on the western edge of Crafers is an important piece of infrastructure, providing public transport linkages to the surrounding area, as well as back into Adelaide. It's at capacity at the moment, and there is an opportunity to look at expanding the development of the parking between the existing car park and the freeway. There's also an opportunity to start to think about this parking area as a trailhead for tourism as well as visitation to the Adelaide Hills. These are opportunities that we can explore as part of a wider vision for the area. I hope you've been able to gain a detailed understanding of some of the issues, but more importantly, the opportunities that exist for Crafers and how we can use these to develop the design framework for the future. How we can look at improving pedestrian activation along the main street. How new development might work to enhance the character. What are the opportunities for open space? How can we use trees and planting to increase the amenity? These are all open-ended questions that we need to look at, and we really need your help in developing this framework for the future. So I encourage you to get involved and to follow this process through and be part of the solution and opportunities for Crafers in the future.